Welcome back to episode 80 of Winning the Division. I am your co host, Ryan Smith, alongside my partner in crime, former NFL tight end Benjamin Troupe. Played his college ball at the University of Florida, played in the NFL for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the then Oakland Raiders, and drafted by the Tennessee Titans. Ben, week 15 of the NFL is almost gone. We have about 3 weeks left of the regular season. Hard to believe, but this season is wrapping up in just about a month's time. A lot of teams not winning their division, and a lot of teams are currently in contention to win their division. So,
Yes.
a lot of things going on here around the league. I want to start off here before we get to our players of the week and not players of the week, and then we get into our recaps. Um, can I'm gonna this is gonna be a curveball. I did not prepare you for this. The big news this week was Patrick Mahomes out with an ACL. Micah Parsons going out with an ACL. Devontae Adams hamstring injury, not considered long term, but might miss this week since they're on Thursday Night Football. And then you've got guys like Nick Bosa went out earlier in the year with an ACL. You've got Fred Warner who went out with a broken ankle. So many injuries across the league, it seems like this year. But especially it seems like ACLs and Achilles are having a rampant time this year. So as a former player who and then you see quarterbacks, especially also guys like Jaden Daniels, and you've got Daniel Jones, and obviously I just mentioned Mahomes a second ago. Okay, here's what I want to ask you, as I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I know people are curious about from a former NFL player like yourself. Do players? It's a physical sport. We all know that injuries are a part of the game. I think people understand that part. What people I don't think are having a hard time understanding is why does it seem like certain teams get the injury bug some years or most years, and other teams pretty much get no injuries or are very healthy minimally throughout the year? Does it feel like some positions are more likely to tear an Achilles or an ACL? Does it go back to training and the training camp and preseason, off-season training? What is it that leads to a lot of these injuries in the NFL besides guys simply just not being in shape or a bad non-contact injury in the turf sometimes?
Hmm. Uh, it's football, Smitty. Um, the number one injury in football is ACL. That's any level. That's high school, that's college, that's pro, that's Pop Warner, that's middle school. I'm gonna say something that a trainer or a lower extremity doctor would say. People that big don't supposed to move that fast, that often, and they're doing it every time. The fact that out of all the players in the NFL, we're still only talking about what, 25, 30 guys? That's not a lot of guys.
Yeah,
But then we're talking about this year it's becoming the who's who.
correct.
Bosa, Warner. You talk about Patrick Mahomes. I mean, and the list go, you're talking about Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatterboo. And it just goes and goes and goes. I will say this about injuries. Injuries only matter when the player matters. There are players that go out every single week. But when it is Patrick Mahomes, everybody go, oh. When it
Micah
is
Parsons.
Nick Bosa,
Yeah.
Micah Parsons, as I mentioned, Malik Neighbors and guys, it's the National Football League. Football is a sport that when you talk about starting and stopping, them knees, most of the time it be non-contact because it just needs a shift. This way to the left, this way to the right, that way. It's not a lot. Like sometimes we can see it. We go, oh, look at his leg. Sometimes, like now you got the Zach Ertz situation where he's in the air and he gets hit and his leg just keeps
Right.
going. That's
Yeah.
football too. And what injuries help us understand about football is it reminds us what we're watching. See, that's why it's so incredible that a guy as small as Bryce Young doesn't get injured like that. He doesn't get injured a lot. Now he has nicks here and there, but football, I mean, when you see some of these pileups, when you see some of these collisions, when you see some of these impacts, you start saying, dude, sometimes I'm surprised it wasn't more damage. I'm surprised that person didn't get hurt. So,
Yeah.
yes, having a guy like Patrick Mahomes is going to make a lot of people stand up and say, hey, this is a problem. It's not a problem. Yes, you're going to have surface problems. Yes, you're going to have players going out. Excuse me, but I'm going to keep saying this from the first week of the preseason. No. From the
Training.
first week of OTAs to mini camps to training camps to preseason, somebody goes out every week. Every single week. Now, sometimes they ain't significant, but them lower extremities, we're talking about ACLs, MCLs, PCLs, we're talking about ankles, we're talking about Achilles. Now, the Achilles one, that's the one, because that used to be career ending. But, I mean, Smitty, it's unfortunate. And if you look at the way Patrick Mahomes plays football, he plays with a reckless abandonment. And most of the time, let's face it, the refs, the defensive players, they're trying to kind of almost protect. They understand how important Patrick Mahomes is. Now, they're still trying to hit him, but
Sure.
they understand how important he is. But it's football. And sometimes players get hit real hard and they get up, and sometimes they don't get hit at all and they don't get up. That's football. It's the nature of the beast. And I thank God every day that I never had the problems that I had in the NFL with injuries was my foot. I never had knee, no knee surgeries, but they say not that it's a good thing, but they say once you do have a knee injury and you have to get it repaired, actually sometimes it comes back stronger because a lot of times you had a lot of cartilage in there that was loose. I mean, there was a lot of knees take a beating. I mean, take a person that's never ever had to play a sport. What's the one thing? Oh yeah, these knees, man, these knees. So yeah, it is unfortunate, Smithy, but it is football. Like I said, when Patrick Mahomes gets hurt, everybody pays attention because he is still one of the faces, if not the face, of the National Football League.
What would you say to well, okay, I'll leave that because I don't want to spend too much time on it. And then the other thing that I wanted to say that I also did not prepare you for, Patrick Mahomes was famous for this. We saw this in the Panthers Saints game with Tyler Shuck. We've seen this. Countless quarterbacks do this all the time. The whole quarterback sliding ahead of time with and causing these defenders to get personal fouls racked up, and these penalties late hit out of bounds is another one with quarterbacks sliding. Patrick Mahomes is very famous for that along the sideline. Does the league care? I think I know the answer to this question, but does the league care, one? And two, regardless of your answer to that question, is there something, do you think, teams can submit to the league, and maybe there could be a rule change saying once the quarterback leaves the box, he becomes a regular defender and basically fair game?
I hope they do, because I don't like it. Because, Smitty, you've been to a lot of Panthers games. You see how fast everything happens. Things are happening at an extremely, rapid rate. Do you think a defender has time to say, one, the defender can see the quarterback can see the defender can see the quarterback can see the defender, and the defender is thinking, you better declare something or I'm gonna knock you out. And the quarterback can decide at the very last minute to slide, to quote, give himself up.
Correct.
Well, if you are a defender, you know who really made that rule kind of like insufficient, even though it was college, it was Kenny Pickett when he was at Pitt, because he
the fake slide.
slid and
Right.
kept running. Now, if a quarterback gives himself up, I would always say this: when did you give yourself up? You got to give yourself up in enough time. Because Smitty, it's tic-tac. And I know we're gonna get into it when we talk about the Panthers versus the Saints. How it ain't called evenly. If you're gonna call it, you got to call it. You can't call on this side, not call on that side. The competition committee gonna definitely have to address it, because I think what is happening is it's not defined. We know what it is, but it's when you giving yourself up really, 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 really late. Or here's another one. If the quarterback is running on the sideline and he's quote finna give himself up, why you still pushing? Because he was still in bounds. Dude, they're trying to get at that quarterback bad. And the quarterback only gets hits once a week, and that's on Sunday. So yeah, it is a ticky-tack rule. I don't like it. because it's not, like I said, it's not definitive. And these players, it's too much on the line. I mean, so yeah, they're gonna have to do something about it. They're gonna do something about it, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what you wanted to say on that, because I have a lot of feelings regarding those quarterbacks and just how they can get away with it, and some of them intentionally, skirt with the rule more than others. Patrick Mahomes is very famous for that, as I said. Okay, let's get into our players of the week and not players or teams of the week. I'm going to go first. I'll make this quick. The Las Vegas Raiders are my not team of the week. Getting blanked by the Philadelphia Eagles is not the point. I know the Eagles are a good team, but the Raiders are a different kind of bad, Ben. I mean, I know Kenny Pickett was starting, but that shouldn't matter. They didn't even get 100 yards as a team. 100 yards, less than 100 yards. It is so bad there in Las Vegas. 2-12 are the Vegas Raiders. Pete Carroll, I think, is in serious consideration of going one and done there in Las Vegas this year. We'll see if that ends up happening. The Raiders are just a special kind of awful there in Las Vegas. My team of the week. So I have 4 categories. That's my not team. My team of the week is the Broncos. Impressive win over the Green Bay Packers in Denver, 34-26, to get them to 12-2 and clinch the playoff spot. I just thought it was a very well-rounded game by Denver. If Bo Nix plays like that, combined with Denver's defense, you can just go and mark them into the AFC Championship game, if not maybe the Super Bowl. If they're going to play like that, the Denver Broncos are going to be hard to stop. And I'm going to go ahead and make Bo Nix, in fact, my player of the week. 23-34, 302 yards, and 4 touchdowns in that win over Green Bay. Bo Nix was sensational. Probably his best game of the season, and I could argue one of his best games in his career so far. And as I said, if they're going to play like that, combined with their defense, they're going to be hard to stop. And then my not player of the week, and again, I always say this every week, I can go a whole bunch of directions here.
Yeah.
George Pickens, another no-show on Sunday Night Football. This is why the Steelers and Mike Tomlin said, enough of your nonsense, we're trading you to Dallas. George Pickens, for his games that he's done really well this year, he was a no-show here in Dallas on Monday night or Sunday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, I'm pulling up his stats right now, and it's like 3 catches for 33 yards, along with 17 on 6 targets. But there were plenty of other opportunities in the game in which he just either wasn't engaged or he just dropped the football.
That's why he's in Dallas right now, because he's very, very, very hot and cold. And when he's cold, he ice cold. And I can't do inconsistency. A player with that much ability, I cannot do inconsistency like that. So that's another reason why he is a Cowboy and no longer a Steeler.
Those are my choices of the week.
I'm gonna start with my players of the week. Number 1, Kyle Pitts. I mean, listen, 11 catches, 166 yards, 3 touchdowns. He feast when it comes, and I could have went Kirk Cousins, but I just said Kyle Pitts. I mean, the most fantasy points in the history of tight ends. And he joined Unique Company. I don't know if you heard of the guy Shannon Sharp, who also had 3 touchdowns in one game.
Yeah, I've heard of that guy.
Yeah. My other player of the week, Trevor Lawrence. Good God, he accounted for 6 touchdowns. He had 5 touchdowns in the air,
Lawrence, but
1 touchdown on the ground. Accounted for 6 touchdowns.
Great.
And even in a losing effort, Travion Henderson of the Patriots, 14 rushes, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns, both coming 50 yards or more out. Travion, his rookie at Ohio State, which takes me to my team of the week. My team of the week is the Eagles. Good. I know it was the Raiders. My goodness. Like, they took the Raiders to the woodshed and beat the brakes off of them. And I just got to give credit where credit due. Jalen Hurts and those guys have to deal with a lot. We talk about the offense, but they was able to finally put it all together. So that's my team of the week. My not team. I'm gonna go to not players. No, I'm gonna go to not players of the week first. My first not player of the week, Drake May. Drake May was 14 to 23, 155. Now he had 2 rushing touchdowns. His passing stats were 14 to 23, 155 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. Let me tell you why that's a problem. The Buffalo Bills are in your division. The first time y'all played them guys, I kept saying, who's going to be the guy? Stephon Diggs is okay. Matt Collins came to okay, he showed up to work, no shoes on, no shirt on. But he also let out like 3 catches, 33 yards. That's not going to work moving forward. My other not player of the week is coming from the same game. You mentioned George Pickens. Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson had 2 catches for 22 yards. 2 catches for 22 yards. In a winning effort for the Vikings, a losing effort for the Cowboys, which brings me to my not teams of the week. I have 4. My first one is the Patriots. Y'all were up 21-0 at home, and you lost. David Portnoy, please be quiet. Come on. Look, y'all need to stay off of X talking trash about these early games. You got to play the whole game. It's going to be my number 2 is what you said, the Raiders. My goodness. Like, we pay money for all these streaming services, man. It's hard to watch the Raiders. Man, extremely hard to watch. My number 3 is the Cowboys. You lost to a team that ain't going nowhere. You lost to the Vikings and all this other stuff, beating the Eagles and beating Kansas City for what? For what? The Cowboys. And my number 4, the Bengals. Look, if the Washington Commanders had some reports that come out and say they're going to sit Jaden Danford, they need to sit Joe, bro. Jamar Chase is saying things like, I never ever really been there for a team, and I might have to be there for Joe. You better do something, because my goodness, it is hard.
I think they're overblowing it a little bit, but I think Joe Burrow is just tired of the losing, and
here's the thing, Smitty. Outside of the Super Bowl yet, don't the Bengals lose all the time? Aren't we used to this? Like, Joe Burrow made us forget how much they lose because one is Joe Burrow, and because they had that outlier season, but. They're going to have to do better. But like I said, my 9 teams of the week, Cowboys, Raiders, Patriots, Bengals. We're going to get to the Titans. We're going to get to the Titans. And Smitty, when we get to the Titans, I'm going to show you just how bad it is with the Titans. Drake made my not player of the week. Justin Jefferson with my players of the week. Kyle Pitts, Trevor Lawrence, Travion Henderson getting it done for the Patriots in a losing effort.
Let's go to our Week 15 recap. As we do, we don't leave out any games. We don't discriminate against anybody. If your team is on the list, we'll talk about them. As long as they're not on a bye. We don't talk about buys here. But the buys are over, so everyone played. The Atlanta Falcons, 29-28 win on Thursday Night Football to get to 5-9, 7-7 are now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Huge matchup in Charlotte. We'll talk about that later. The Falcons win probability was low as 4.8%, Ben. Trailing 28-14 in this game. They had 19 penalties, and they still managed to come out with a victory. Talk about your Falcons getting it done.
I will say this: Todd Bowles, every expletive he could use in the post-game press conference, and was warranted.
He used them all.
I'm not even gonna talk about the game, because we talked about Kyle Pitts, we talked about Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use Gerald McCoy, former defensive tackle and Buccaneers great Gerald McCoy.
Yeah.
He was in his car. He said, as an analyst, they tell me every week not to pick the Bucs. He said, I pick them every week. No matter who they play, I pick the Bucs every week. He said, there are a lot of problems going on with the Bucs, not just the offense. He said, one, you're force-feeding Mike Evans. You're force-feeding him, which you're throwing him the ball when he's open, and you're throwing him the ball when he is not. There were a lot of blown coverages on Thursday. It was a lot of them. And he says, I'm not saying that Kyle Pitts isn't a really, really good player when he goes out there and shows his talent. I'm saying he is running wide open. These are not hard coverages to get your guy with it as far as their route combination. And Jerry McCoy is saying, look, I know that the Bucs are winning the division every year, but they're getting put out in the first round, which means it's not going to matter anyway. No one remembers the first round, the divisional round. So he was saying that when it comes to the Bucs,
the wild card round, I know
Well, yeah. When he said when you start depending on other teams to help you with your own destiny, that's not good. That means you don't control your own destiny. And you don't, from Vita Vea to Levante David to
Yep.
Antoine Winfield Jr. He says that defense is not getting it done in droves. He said there's no way he says there's no way the Falcons should have looked like that. So shout out to the Falcons for getting it done. But he says what the Falcons showed is a lot of problems going on in Tampa that's more to do with the locker room and less to do with the coaches.
Shout out to the Chicago Bears, a 31-3 win over the Cleveland Browns. The Browns 3-11 going for that number one pick, or at least top 5. Bears now 10-4 on the year. And Ben Johnson, the third head coach in Bears history with 10-plus games, won in his first season, joining George Halas back in 1920, and of course Matt Nagy in that 2018 season, where before he kind of went downhill after that. Did you see that pass from Caleb Williams and DJ Moore? Oh, that was filthy.
Now that was a beautiful throw and catch. I guarantee you, when they get to the playoffs, I guarantee you, Ben Johnson gonna be like, "Hey, yo, Caleb, look, I know we've talked about this before. Yeah, I know you trust your arm. I know you trust your teammates. I know you trust your playmakers. If you are rolling right, just throw right." That you kind of threw it back to it. Now it was beautiful. That thing was. Because there was a DJ Moore sighting. I mean, he had 4 catches, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns. Caleb Williams, 17-28, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Shedeur Sanders looked like a rookie on Sunday. It wasn't his fault, but he looked like a rookie.
Yep.
18-35, 177 yards, 3 interceptions. And 1 interception, Jerry Jeudy, just got taken from you. That was a dime, and it just got taken from you. But why are we watching the Browns? Let's be honest. We're not watching the Browns for Shedeur. We are. Myles Garrett, 1.5 sacks. He has 20 sacks on the season. He's going to break the record. There's no way you're going to keep him from breaking the record unless you just don't let him play, but he's going to break the record.
He's close. And how fitting would it be when they played Pittsburgh in Week 17?
But,
how fitting would that be?
This is about one thing. We knew that Chicago was going to beat Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski. You gave Shedeur Sanders the wrong wristband. So he had a wristband of plays.
I heard about that.
Smitty, at a certain point, we got to start calling it what it is. If it ain't sabotage, what is it? Smitty, have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of that in Pop Warner? Middle school, high school, college, arena, XFL, UFL, AFL? No, Kevin Stefanski. You know why Kevin Stefanski told the truth in the post-game press conference? Because he knew they were going to investigate it and he was going to prove him to be a liar. No. You gave him, we gave him the wrong wrist. You gave your starting quarterback the wrong. Did Dylan Gabriel have the wrong wristband? This is crazy. But what did Shedeur Sanders do? He was professional about it. He didn't make no waves about it. He didn't throw his coach under the bus. But if there are different wristbands going on, why is there even it should be one. Why is there anyway? You have a dummy wristband? Anyway, it's the Cleveland Browns. We are watching it for Myles Garrett. Shedeur, stay healthy. Hopefully you and Dylan Gabriel get to compete for that starting spot in the offseason. To call this a debacle, I mean,
putting it nicely.
It's saying it very lightly. Come on, Stefanski. Come on, man. Wow.
You mentioned the Cincinnati Bengals already getting shut out. They did that from the Baltimore Ravens in Cincinnati. They apparently got fined by the league as well about not shoveling snow out of their stadium. Apparently there was a reason for that, though. Baltimore, though, 7-7 on the year. Bengals officially eliminated from playoff contention as they fall to 4-10. This was the Bengals' first time being shut out since Week 1 of the 2017 season, also against the Ravens. So it's been eight years.
Lamar Jackson, extremely efficient, 8 of 12, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Derrick Henry, 11 rushes, 100 yards. Zay Flowers had 3 catches, 68 yards, dropped a touchdown pass, but, they didn't really need it. Joe Burrow, 25 of 39, 225 yards, 2 picks. Didn't really get much from the run game. Jamar Chase, 10 catches, 132 yards. The thing about this Cincinnati Bengals team is this. I've heard Joe Burrow sound more depressed in 1 year than I've ever heard him since he's been a player. Now, that's what happened when you lose, and I'm pretty sure in the offseason he'll get back to being himself. But Smitty, either they're going to protect Joe Burrow or they won't. Because we've seen him get injured a lot, and we understand what his ceiling is. But the problem is he's always on the ground on the floor, looking up at the freaking sky because that offensive line. But yeah, the Ravens are still trying to make way. These, as you mentioned, the last 3 weeks of the season are going to be incredibly entertaining from the AFC North, the NFC South, the NFC North. I mean, you're gonna have some. I mean, the NFC West.
NFC West,
Yeah, it's gonna come down to a lot, which is what you want. I mean, entertaining football at the end of the year is what you want. But yeah, if you are the Bengals, to say you're wasting Joe Burrow talent is an understatement. And Jamar Chase, look, just go to his house, bake him some cookies, play Uno, do something, because you need a happy Joe Burrow going into this offseason because y'all been had y'all Cancun tickets ready. Yeah, y'all ain't going nowhere fast. And all those people talking about Chad Ochocinco, check. Good with the Bengals. Wasn't going no playoffs. Stop it.
And I got to think about Chad. We'll get to him in a little bit. Houston Texans doubled up the Arizona Cardinals 40-20. Texans 9-5. Cardinals 3-11. It was Trey McBride, though, for the Cardinals, the longest streak of games with 5 or more receptions by a tight end in NFL history, 16 games, passing Travis Kelce with 15 on the all-time list.
Trey McBride is one of the bright spots for the Arizona Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett is giving you all he got, 27-40, 249 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. You mentioned Trey McBride, 12 catches, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. The thing that was dangerous, though, is a team that beat them, the Texans. I mean, C.J. Stroud, 22-29, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns. Nico Collins, 3 for 85, 2 touchdowns. You're talking about Dalton Schultz. 8 for 76 in a touchdown. This Houston Texas team is coming. I'm looking at Danielle Hunter with another sack, on Sunday. I think about the Texas team. We wrote them off so early, Smitty, because they wasn't playing well early in the season. We were like, oh, maybe they're having a third-year slump. No, they found their stride. They found it at the right time. C.J. Stroud that got hurt. He's back healthy. You talk about Will Anderson. You talk about Jalen Petrie. You talk about Danielle Hunter. They got a defense that can shut you down. And I just think that at an AFC South that I think, obviously, Phillip Rivers, 44 years old, we'll get to him. They trending in the wrong direction. The Titans can't find a way to get a win. Then they're going to come down to the Jags in Houston. We'll see, but everybody, Houston's a team nobody's not talking about and get shit. Because they got a defense, they got an offense, and they got a team chemistry and culture that can beat anybody you put in front of them.
Yes, that is for sure. And then one mention, I forgot to mention this earlier, the Chicago Bears. Rome Odunze did not play in this game. He aggravated a foot injury. Now they're saying he might be sitting for more games and giving him time to recover. Just a side
note. Probably a lot worse than they saying it is. Yeah.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, you mentioned Trevor Lawrence, 48-20 over the New York Jets. 10-4 are the Jags. 3-11 are the Jets as they fired former Panthers interim coach, defensive coordinator, Cardinals former head coach, and San Francisco 49ers former defensive coordinator, and now former Jets defensive coordinator Steve Wilks did get the boot today, unfortunately. We love him here in Carolina. A lot of guys, a big fan of his, fan of him as a man and as a coach specifically. And then Rochelle Tootin out multiple weeks due to finger surgery. That's the Jaguars running back who's been sharing carries with Travis Etienne as well. But Trevor Lawrence, you mentioned that earlier a bit, third player with at least 5 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown, no interceptions in a single game over the last 30 seasons, joining just Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers. He's also the second quarterback in Jacksonville history with 5+ touchdowns and no interceptions in a game, and the other one would be Blake Bortles.
Trevor Lawrence played about as good as the game. 20 of 32, 330 yards, 5 touchdowns that you mentioned. Trevor Lawrence also had 5 carries, 51 yards, and a touchdown. Accounted for 6 touchdowns, no picks, and I just, like I said, 10-4. Liam Cohen is doing incredible work up there in Jacksonville year one. I mean, he said, "Look, okay, I got the former number one overall pick in Baker Mayfield, but I got the former number one overall pick in Trevor Lawrence. I'm gonna go with Trevor Lawrence." And they're doing all this. No Travis Hunter, no problem. I mean, people don't even mention Travis Hunter. Not that they should. I mean, he's been out for the rest of the year. I've been very impressed with Trevor Lawrence on Sunday. I mean, you see why the Jags are really, really high on him, and the way in which he plays the game of football. I just think that when you look at how well this team could play, this is their ceiling. When you talk about how they've been playing as of late, like I said, it's gonna come down to Houston and the Jags. Who gonna blink first? Well, shout out to them Duval Jaguars. They finding a way to get it done. Trevor Lawrence accounted for 6 touchdowns, no picks, no turnovers. If he's playing like that, not saying they're gonna play that every week, they're gonna be a hard out because it's gonna come down to who win this division. I don't think they're gonna have no wild card. If they get home field advantage, they're gonna be a hard out. Come January.
The Los Angeles Chargers are now 10-4 with a 16-13 win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs now 6-8 on the season. They are officially eliminated from the playoffs. First time the Chiefs are not in the playoffs since 2012. And Mahomes going down, as we said, with a torn ACL. He did avoid other damage in his knee, which was good to hear from that standpoint. But Justin Herbert, was sacked a lot in this game, 4+ times, and has now been sacked 4+ times in a career high 6 games this year. Owns a 5-1 record though in those games, the most wins when taking 4+ sacks this season, tying Sam Darnold for the most by any quarterback in the last 5 seasons. But the Chargers, hard to not be impressed. They're 5-0 now in this division.
Yeah, Justin Herbert, 19 of 29, 210 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Hampton had 15 rushes, 61 yards. I would say this about Justin Herbert. I mean, you talk about the toughness. When I think he had surgery on his hand or something like that. I mean, he didn't miss any games. He said, "Look, I just want to be one of the guys to be out there." And 10-4. Harbaugh's doing an incredible job in year 2. But as you mentioned, Patrick Mahomes, 16 of 28, 169 yards, and a pick. Gardner Minshew came in 3 of 5, 22 yards and a pick. Isaiah Pacheco, I mean, he really has to look like he's 11 rushes, 21 yards. Travis Kelce, 7 catches, 70 yards. Let me tell you, listen, when they got beat, and you saw Travis Kelce coming to walk to the sideline, you see Patrick Mahomes tear his ACL. You knew the dynasty had come to an end when they lost in the Super Bowl, but you didn't want to see it come to an end like this. Patrick Mahomes is still a bit, I give him a lot of flack. Does he sound like Kermit the Frog when he speaks? Yep, he does. Did he have a mohawk a lot longer than I want? But he's an incredible football player. And the most telling thing wasn't the game; it was the post-game press conference. Chris Jones, they're all pro defensive tackle, defensive end, defensive lineman. Didn't even know they had been eliminated. He was like, "Yeah, man." We said they were like, "Oh, are we out of the playoffs?" That's how rare it is in Kansas City these days, Smitty, for them to just. And Travis Kelce said 2 weeks ago on his podcast with his brother Jason, he said, "Man, I used to be able to find the answers. Like every year, I'll say, listen, going into the season, I'm gonna find the answer." He said, "I haven't found the answer this year," and that's kind of been the moniker of this entire Kansas City team. They haven't found the answer this year, and I think when you won as much as they've won, when you've done as much as they've done, Smitty, you think you're gonna hit a switch, and you think you'll be able to carry that momentum. It just hasn't. The NFL is going to catch up to you, whether a player, a coach, a coordinator, a scheme, a team. They're gonna figure you out. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they kind of been figured out the last couple of years, even though they found a way to get it done in 2024. We are praying for a speedy recovery for Patrick Mahomes. We don't know if we've seen if these last 3 games are going to be the last we're going to see of a Travis Kelce with everything he got going on in his life. And we'll see how different this Kansas City Chiefs team look in 2026, Smitty. But the fact that Patrick Mahomes is out for the rest of the year, that means that Chris Collinsworth is probably going to take a leave of absence. What is Chris Collinsworth going to do if he can't talk about Patrick Mahomes? We'll see. I'll wait on Adam Schefter for breaking news. He might be out.
The Buffalo Bills got a 35-31 victory over the New England Patriots to get to 10-4. Patriots now 11-3. Overcame a 21-0 deficit. The Bills did. then the Patriots had a 124-1 record when leading by 21 plus points at any point in a home game in team history during Week 15. They had won 104 straight home games when leading 21 plus points, and they did lose this game.
If you are the New England Patriots, you are saying to yourself, how did this happen?
Josh Allen.
Okay. Stephon Diggs said after the game, he said, not that I look forward to losing. He said, well, we probably need this loss, man, because we haven't lost it so long. People start thinking that this is how the NFL is. Like, you go on a long streak and you're not going to lose no games. He said, but, as I mentioned earlier, Drake made 14 to 23, 155 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. Travion Henderson went out, 14 rushes, 148 yards, 10.6 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Drake made 4 rushes, 43 yards, 2 touchdowns. Matt Collins led our receivers, 4 catches, 41 yards. Stephon Diggs, 3 catches, 26 yards. Then you go over to Josh Allen, 19 to 28, 193 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. James Cook, 22 rushes, 107 yards, two touchdowns. Dawson Knox had 3 catches, 37 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, James Cook had 2 catches, 4 yards, and a touchdown. This came down to grid. Sean McDermott knew, dude, we better not lose to Drake May and them twice. Like, the first time at home, it was early in the season, and Drake May was looking like an MVP candidate. But then Josh Allen took his cape off. Congratulations to Josh Allen and his wife. I heard they are getting ready to have their first child. So congratulations to Josh, and his wife. Smitty, if you are the New England Patriots, yes, it's one loss, but it's who you lost to. See, it ain't that you lose, it's who you lose and when you lose to them. When you lost to the class of the AFC East, and that being the Buffalo Bills. They ain't going nowhere. And Drake May, they're saying, dude, who is our number one receiver? Stephon Diggs? Well, he's been neutralized. Matt Collins? Well, he don't like wearing shoes or shirts, for this matter. Congratulations to the Bills. And if you're a Drake May company, I know that Mike Vrabel stayed outside the locker room, or stayed outside before everybody went into the locker room and told everybody it's going to be all right. The Mike Vrabel effect is in full effect in Foxborough. I will say that. Josh Allen ain't going nowhere. And if you thought they was down for the count, they're not. Because Drake May Company could have sealed the division at 11-3. They haven't. They're 11-3. The Bills are 10-4. And once again, Smitty, the AFC East, just like the NFC North, just like the NFC South, just like the NFC West, it is going to come down to these last 3 games of the season.
A battle for the top 5 picks in New York, as the Washington Commanders got a 29-21 victory over the New York Giants to improve to 4-10. The Giants now 2-12. Jaden Daniels was officially shut down for the year today as well by the Washington Commanders. But it was Jalen Lane, first rookie in Commanders history to return multiple punts for a touchdown in a season, and the first Washington player with 2+ punt returns for a touchdown since Brian Mitchell in 1994.
Listen, Mr. Lane, come on now. Very, very impressive. Him, Parker Washington, DK with the Titans. You guys are finding a way to go out there and get it done. But as you mentioned, Marcus Mariota, blast from the pass, 10 for 19, 211 yards, 1 touchdown. You talk about Crosby Merritt. He had 18 rushes, 96 yards, and a touchdown. Scary Ted McLaurin led our receivers with 3 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Debo. Whoa, Debo Samuels Jr. Senior, 3 catches, 43. I used to do that when he was in South Carolina. I used to do that. So Jackson Dart, 20 of 36, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. James Winston came in 0 for 1. I will say this about Jackson Dart, because all about the Commanders. They better find a way to protect him better. To Smitty, he's been in the concussion protocol like 3 or 4 times this season. Like, that can't be the norm. He can't be in and out of the freaking blue tent every week.
I will go a step further. Jackson Dart and Jaden Daniels need to start protecting themselves. I know Jaden Daniels had the good rookie year last year, one of the best we've ever seen, if not the best. But this year, that was one of the concerns coming out on him. It was his durability at LSU and his recklessness, if you will, with his taking those hits. So we'll keep – go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll keep it moving. Not much to say on that game, like you said. The hapless Raiders got shut out to the Philadelphia Eagles 31-0. 2-12 are the Raiders. 9-5 are the Eagles. Dallas Goedert, 5 receiving touchdowns thrown behind the line of scrimmage this season, the most by a non-running back in the next-gen stats era. Goddard has just 6 total receptions behind the line of scrimmage in 2025, 5 of them for touchdowns.
Jalen Hurts got back to what he does, very efficient football, 12 of 15, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns. Right? Saquon Barkley, 22 rushes, 78 yards and a touchdown. You mentioned Dallas Goedert, 6 for 70, 2 touchdowns. A.J. Brown had 2 for 41 and a touchdown. This game was over when they kicked the ball off because, the Raiders just aren't a good football team. Kenny Pickett, former Raider, former Eagle, former Brown, former Eagle, former Brown, former Pittsburgh Steelers, 15 to 25, 64 yards and a pick. Did get it. Brock Bowers had 6 catches for 28 yards. How is that even possible? 6 catches, 28 yards. They shut him all the way down. Devin White and Max Crosby was getting into it. Max Crosby is at his wit's end when you start talking about this team. He's trying his best to be up. He's trying his best to be the leader, but it's rough coming to work every week when you're on a team like this. To Eagles fans, calm down. It was one loss against the Chargers. You guys will be all right. Jalen Hurts is the greatest at bouncing back when he said, "You must not know what I'm built of, what I'm made of, who I am." The Eagles are gonna be fine. And if you are the Raiders, you're gonna have to blow this entire thing up from Pete Carroll to the president to the GM. It's ugly. There is, outside of being in Vegas and having a spaceship looking freaking stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, and wearing silver and black.
Let's move on. They make me yawn. I don't.
They do.
I don't want the viewers to feel like I'm
worst team in the league is in Vegas. Yeah. Awful.
They make me yawn. The Denver Broncos, my team of the week, 34-26 over the Green Bay Packers, now in 12-2 on the year. Packers 9-4-1 with that tie from earlier in the year. Packers injuries are starting to heat up. They lost Tucker Kraft against my Panthers. They lost Micah Parsons against the Broncos to a torn ACL. They also lost Christian Watson as well. He avoided serious injury, though. That is good news for the Packers. And the Broncos, though, they are 7-1 all time at home against the Packers, which is Green Bay's second worst road record versus any active franchise. The worst would be 0-7 at the Bills.
We as content creators, podcasters, analysts, columnists, all lovers of NFL, we owe the Broncos an apology. The Broncos are 12-2.
They're good.
Really, really good. And you talk about Bo Nix, 25 for 34, 302 yards. He had 4 touchdowns. No picks. R.J. Harvey had 19 rushes, 65 yards and a touchdown. You talk about Cortland Sutton, who had 7 catches, 113 yards and a touchdown. T. Franklin had 6 for 85. And L. Humphrey had 3 for 42 and a touchdown. I don't know who the best linebacker is in the NFL right now with Warner being out. I don't know who the best outside linebacker is. Might be Brian Burns. Patrick Surtain is the best cornerback in the league. You just have to watch him. That pick he had. The receiver thinking he opened all the is this dude finna dive? Yeah, he dove and got that pick. Very Michael Parsons going out is definitely going to hurt. Rashad Garrett was just, he was very, very emotional, talking about, listen, man, we're going to go out there and finish hard for you. Jordan Love is a really, really good football player. 24 of 42, 276 yards, but he had 1 touchdown. He had 2 picks. That kind of stuff going to hurt you. I don't know who the best defense is in the National Football League. I know who the stingiest is, and that's Denver. When you get close to that goal line, they ain't giving you an inch. When you got a Patrick Surtain Jr. who can shut down one side of the field as well as that, they could do a lot of things. But the Broncos are just cruising right along. I know the Chargers are doing well. I know Kansas City is out of the playoffs, and the Raiders are the Raiders. The class of the AFC, not just the AFC West, is Denver. And if you got to deal with it, you're gonna have to deal with them in the cold, in the snow, in January. Good luck with that in the playoffs.
The Los Angeles Rams get a 41-34 victory over the Detroit Lions. The Rams now 11-3. Detroit 8-6. They are sputtering with their playoff hopes suddenly becoming more and more less likely. Kyron Williams joined Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk, and then Steven Jackson as the only Rams running backs with 1,000-plus yards in 3 or more consecutive seasons. The story of this game was Devontae Adams with a hamstring injury. Probably not going to play in their next game since it's a short week for them on Thursday Night Football. And then Puka Nacua also went out with an injury, but also was able to come back. That one looked pretty serious, but he thankfully was able to come back there for the Rams. But this was a shootout.
It was.
Advertising.
Smitty, we kept saying this. We said that Matthew Stafford hasn't had his way with the Detroit Lions because both times he's played them, he had to go to Detroit. We said, well, let's see what happened when Detroit got to come to the West Coast, and it was an incredible game. Jared Goff, 25 of 41, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 13 rushes, 38 yards. David Montgomery, 7 rushes, 32 yards, and 1 touchdown. So essentially shut down the run game. Amon St. Brown, 13 catches, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. James Williams, I mean, you talk about 7 for 134 and 1 touchdown. That's a lot of production from 2 guys, but you making them one dimensional. Then you come over here to the Rams. Matthew Stafford, 24, 38, 360 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick, as you mentioned. Williams, 15 rushes, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. Corum had 11 for 71 and a touchdown. Puka Nacua had 9 catches, 181 yards. I mean, that's straight up getting it done. The big reason why Cooper Kupp is now a Seattle Seahawk. Parkinson had 5 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Here's what makes the Rams dangerous. Matthew freaking Stafford. Puka Nacua is essentially a slot receiver, but they put him on the outside in favorable coverages. And he gonna find he had a drop. And he stayed at 9 for 181. So, yes, Seahawks, 49ers, and the freaking Rams. You're gonna have three teams coming out of there, man. You're gonna have a division 1 and 2 wild cards, I believe. They gonna make life tough for the NFC North. Everybody can't get in. Everybody cannot and will not get in. But shout out to the Rams. Shout out to Matthew Stafford. Know what it's like you finally beat the Detroit Lions. I still think both teams got the better deal with Jared Goff going to Detroit. And obviously Matthew Stafford going to the Rams. But the Rams got the better of this one. Shout out to the Rams.
You had a Titans take. Let's hear it. The Tennessee Titans fall to the San Francisco 49ers 37-24 in Santa Clara. The Niners now 10-4 on the year. Titans also vying for that number 1 pick at 2-12. Jeffrey Simmons had a sack, had his second career touchdown, becoming the 4th player since 2000 to record 8+ sacks and a touchdown catch in the same season.
And that's the problem. You just nailed it. Cam Ward, every single week, you see him running for his life, trying to make plays with his legs, trying to make plays with his feet, trying to make plays with his arms. The problem is his receivers be forgetting how to catch every single time. He's scrambling to the right. He throws left. Listen, man, Ayo Manor hits him right between the numbers. He drops it. They get to the goal line. He's scrambling around. Who has enough wherewithal to understand the scramble drill? Jeffrey Simmons. And after the game, they said, "Cam, man, how you feel about Jeffrey Simmons?" He said, "Man, I appreciate him making a play for me." When your star defensive tackle is making plays on the goal line and his own offense, that should just tell you how much work and how far away the Titans are. Love their effort, man. They have a never say die attitude. Cam Ward is going to give you all. He got 18 to 29, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. But it was in a losing effort because it is Tony Pollard. 14 rushes, 104 yards, 1 touchdown. You talk about, the 49ers, though. 10-4, Brock Purdy, 23 of 30, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, they neutralized him. Yeah, 22 rushes, 70 yards, and a touchdown. Pearsall, I do think there was a horse collar type tackle when they tackled him. George Kittle, 8 for 88 in a touchdown. Jawan Jennings, 3 for 37, 2 touchdowns. They trying to keep pace in that NFC West. We just mentioned the class of the NFC West being the Rams, the Seattle Seahawks, they're right there. So Brock Purdy and company trying to keep it going. It's all about the Titans, though. The Titans got to find a way to get Cam Ward some help, and they need some help in a hurry. Jeffrey Simmons, congratulations on your touchdown catch. How you got 1.5 sacks and a touchdown? So you balling on offense, and defense. That was a long flight back, and then Cam going. Jeffrey Simmons telling the receivers, "Man, what y'all doing? Nothing. Not doing anything." Making sure Cam had to run for his life like a chicken with his head cut off. But shout out to the 49ers, man, to keep it with their winning ways in the NFC West. Is going to come down once again to these last 3 games of the season.
All right. Old man, 44-year-old Philip Rivers and the Colts come up just short in the Pacific Northwest. The Seattle Seahawks 18-16, last second field goal by Jason Myers. My fantasy kicker, Jason Myers, 24 points for me in fantasy. Great day, sir, to you. 11-3 are the Seahawks. 8-6, and also fading playoff hopes are the Indianapolis Colts. The Seahawks won despite being held to 2 of 13 on third down. That's 15.4% for those math majors out there. They now have the third lowest third down conversion rate of any team in a win in 2025. Been as poor as Phillip Rivers played, but again, that was kind of to be expected. Sam Darnold has not looked good these past few weeks, and the Seahawks defense is carrying this team right now.
Sam Darnold, 22 of 36, 271 yards. And this Jackson Smith, and 7 catches, 113 yards, which he gonna do what he do. But not a lot of offensive production that you mentioned. I'm just gonna go straight to Phillip Rivers, 44 years young. Oh, congratulations on Phillip Rivers too, for everybody saying that wow, he's got to wait 5 years for him to go into the Hall of Fame. That's 5 more years that the NFL is gonna have to pay for him and his family. They own that Cigna plan. I remember that plan. It was nice. And they said, quote, it could save him, quote, $8,000 a month for his 10 kids. Phillip Rivers, 18 to 27, 120 yards, 1 touchdown and a pick. They neutralized Jonathan Taylor, man. 25 rushes, 87 yards. You knew that defense would. Threw a touchdown pass. I thought that Phillip Rivers and company had a shot to do that. I'm thinking we're going to beat them. But think about Seattle. They got that. You got to play all 4 quarters, every second of the game. 53.5 yards wide, 100 yards long, every blade of grass. I was proud of Phillip Rivers. Now, let me address something real fast. Cam Newton. Let it go. Now, I do agree with something Cam Newton said when he said, hey, man, when this guy, I think his coach's name is Peggy. He said Peggy.
Yep.
And Peggy said, Cam, did you let him know that you still want to play football? He said, Phillip Rivers ain't have to let him know. Why Cam got to let him know? Cam, I'm going to tell Cam, I know you was just recently doing, give you a quick plug, to your podcast. I think it's Funky Fridays with Jamel Hill. You had Jamel Hill on. Jamel Hill asked you why you ain't playing football, and your answer was, because of my polarizing personality. Is that what you're telling yourself? You saying because of your personality? No, Cam, I've heard everywhere you've been, you are a model teammate. First stint in Carolina, only stint in New England, and the second stint in Carolina. Smitty, I'm going to ask you. You saw Cam the second time when he came back, with the quote, I'm back.
I did.
What do you think Cam is ready to play football if somebody called him right now?
No.
From what you saw?
No.
And you see how easy that was? Cam, we look. Listen, nobody, number one, Cam, whenever you do get in the Ring of Honor, they're going to call me and Smitty. We're going to get with your people. We're going to announce it on this show. It ain't. Cam, you're not back because the way you play football is not what the Colts are trying to do. You are an RPO specialist.
Cam Newton aged
but more with the R, than the P. You ain't passing it, you more than throwing it. Keep yourself in shape. I think that's great, but come on, Cam, let's stop it. But anyway, Phillip Rivers, 44 years old. They called him. He was able to play. I was proud of him. Every dad bod on the planet was rooting for Phillip Rivers. So to Emmanuel Achos out there, to everybody got something to say when it comes to Phillip Rivers, look, he did the best with the opportunity. But I heard some rumblings that Anthony Richardson has been cleared for all football activities. So I don't know what they're going to do with Phillip Rivers back. We'll see. That's going to be very interesting.
That has been confirmed. He is starting Monday Night Football.
So Phillip Rivers is starting Monday night.
That's confirmed.
Well, that means that Anthony Richardson, you will be watching from the pine. I don't know what's going on. So, but shout out to Phillip Rivers, 04 draft class, my draft class. Love you, Phillip. Love you, Phil. Hey man, no matter what, you will not get blamed for any loss. Just know that you are blameless at this point. But I was very, very impressed with what I saw against a Seattle Seahawks defense that does that to everybody. They do that to everybody.
Yeah. You did say you thought Anthony Richardson has played his last down for the Colts specifically.
Because
I do think he still has to get back in football shape, and he's been out for a while. So Shane Steichen's direct quote today was, I did not bring in Phillip Rivers to sit.
Oh, no, I get it. But the thing is, too, Smitty, if you bring in Anthony Richardson, he can't go back to the bench unless he's hurt because there ain't enough games left I don't
Right.
know. I just think they're gonna use him for to get some picks in the offseason. Because I don't think the Colts
I
gonna
agree.
bring it back.
That's a team like the Vikings, a team like the yeah, wait, that's a fun segment. We
The
could do that later.
Falcons, Michael
Yeah,
Penix is hurt.
yeah. I would not want to see that personally, but
The
uh,
Jets.
speaking of the Carolina Panthers ex quarterback Cam Newton, I avoided this one as long as I could. the
You got yeah,
Carolina
and guess what? And you have the floor. I'm just gonna sit back. You have the floor.
the Carolina Panthers fall to the New Orleans Saints, 20-17. 7-7 are the Panthers. 4-10. Half their wins are against the Panthers. Tyler Shuck and Jaden Daniels, the only rookie quarterbacks in the last 10 years to lead game-winning drive in back-to-back games against a team with a winning record. He was 24-32, 272 yards and a touchdown against the Panthers. 162 of his yards in the lone touchdown in the fourth quarter, leading the Saints from a 10-point deficit to victory in this game. Ben, I'm just going to say this. Not exactly the Panthers' best performance, but hey, this is what the Panthers do. They have been inconsistent all season long. Derek Brown liked to say, we started 1-3. We're making it hard on ourselves, and this is what we do.
Yep.
This is the Panther way. We like to do this. Nick Scott, safety for the Panthers, said looked like a team that was coming off their bye. That's just an excuse.
I got the most reasonable explanation for you, but I'm gonna let you get it all out.
J.C. Horn had. There are Panther fans out there, Ben, who said J.C. Horn, whose dad Joe Horn played for the Saints, and obviously for your Falcons in old age there, but he was known for his Saints career, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like J.C. Horn doesn't know how to cover Chris Olave every time they play the Saints for whatever reason. He's just a lesser corner when they plays the Saints for whatever reason. But no, this game came down to a 10-point margin for the Panthers lead, and then Canales, once they got the field goal to make it 17-10, Panthers were back down in the red zone. They went for 4th down and inches. Challenged the play call. It was no good. Decided to go for it on 4th and less than a yard. Got stuffed instead of kicking the field goal to go up by 2 scores. And that did not decide the game, though, because the New Orleans also then ended up, we stopped them on 4th and short, and then the Panthers got the ball back before New Orleans ended up tying the game. But at the end of the day, there were missed opportunities in this game, not just penalties, 11 penalties for the Panthers, but also I really, really believe that this team is still learning how to win every week. The consistency that Dave Canales talks about. And listen, I do not like it as much as everybody else does either, as far as the inconsistency of this team. It's frustrating. It is dang frustrating. But the Panthers, if you had told most Panther fans that they would be 7-7 with 3 weeks to go in the division hunt, in the playoff hunt, after 8 years in the wilderness, you would take that 10 times out of 10. 2 wins just 2 years ago, 5 wins last year, 7 wins this year as of now. Can be 10 wins if they win out. But if it's 7 wins and they lose the rest, 7 is 2 more than last year. Obviously, that would be very disappointing after being, so close. But they're still in the hunt. The goals are in front of them with 3 games to go. They get Tampa at home first. This next game, very crucial game, and they got to show up and show out against both ex-Panther quarterbacks Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield in these next 3 weeks.
My explanation for this game is this. This is the NFC South as a whole. The Falcons beat the Bucs. Why? Because the Falcons used to play really well against the Bucs. Right? The Panthers beat the Falcons because the Panthers play well against the Falcons. And the Saints beat the Panthers. This is the NFC. This is what happens, right?
Yeah.
But you see how calm Derek Brown was when he was talking? Man, look. I'm not finna let one game frustrate me. It frustrated me the first time. It's gonna frustrate me this. He said, we don't make things easy around here on ourselves, ever. So this has been Keep pounding. Obviously, it's a mantra, but no easy roads, no easy wins. Once again, I don't know who the odds makers are or who the schedule makers for the 2025-2026 NFL season, but they got it right this year. It is going to be everybody, these fantasy owners, these bettors, everybody gonna be watching these last three. You got to be because there's so many scenarios, so many ways this thing can go. And if you are and the greatest thing about it is the Bucks thought, okay, we lost to the Falcons. The Panthers are in first place. Okay, the Panthers lose to the Saints. We're back in first place. Well, who the Bucks got to play? They got to play the Panthers. So you still could. And when's the last time you could say those words, man? To control your destiny. It's been a while since you've been able to say that. So, hey, it was ugly. Tyler Shuck. Hey, man, I give him a lot of credit, man. No one's really talking about the young man outside of he was the wrong quarterback. Should have been Shedeur Sanders. He played some good football, and you got to give him credit. You know, Cameron Jordan. I don't know how long Cameron Jordan been in New Orleans. I know it's been a long time. I think Cameron Jordan was born in 1989, if I'm not mistaken. That's not like that's not like reindeer years, but it's like he's been there a minute, and he ain't really got nothing to go off of outside these last 3 weeks, and we'll see if he's a staying in 2026. But yeah, it didn't go you guys' way, but you guys still got everything in front of you. And if you do end up winning the division, which I think you guys are the front runners to do it, because I do not trust the Bucks. Because the Bucks have more turmoil in the locker room than what Ty Bowles said. Hey man, it'll all be worth it if you because like I said, it ain't about how many wins, it's enough wins to either get you in or win the division. All that other stuff is fluff.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I'll be back on this show regardless, whether they win or lose, whether they make to the playoffs or they don't.
You don't know pain. I'm gonna keep saying I'm a Falcons fan. You don't know pain. We out there looking good against the Bucks. Going what? To get the 5 wins. And you got Raheem Morris walking up to the camera talking trash. You're behind out the freaking camera.
We'll see what happens. The Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football take care of the Dallas Cowboys, who pretty much essentially eliminate them from playoff contention, even though they have like a 1% chance at this point. 34-26, 6-8 are the Vikings. They've already been eliminated from contention in the 6-7-1 now Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey missed 2 field goal attempts on Sunday night. His total misses for the season entering that game. It was the 3rd time in 3 seasons that he's missed 2 field goals in a game. And as I mentioned, George Pickens, once again, a no-show.
You wonder why people laugh at the Cowboys. Number one, and we laugh at the Cowboys get the Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I can't, I don't dislike the Cowboys. I dislike the fan base. They be talking like, man, please. Yeah, they are the greatest next year. If you're looking for an excuse, if you're gonna be late to work, if you need a doctor's note, just call Dallas Cowboy fans. They got a room full of excuses, but that's what they do. I ain't even gonna break down the game. I'm gonna just say this. So you beat Kansas City and you beat the Eagles in back-to-back weeks. Oh, no Michael Parsons, no problem.
Cowboys.
Exactly. We got Quentin Williams. I heard of some turmoil right now though with Trayvon Diggs, the brother of Stephon Diggs. I heard some stuff. I heard because he hasn't been himself coming off of injuries. George Pickens. I just want to know why. Like, why do you do this? Your talent, Smitty, he's probably a top 5 talented as far as like receiver. He can do it. Like, we ain't questioning your ability.
Yeah.
We questioning your motives, your mindset. What are you like for what? Like, I'm gonna say this to every NFL player, and I hope they hear me. We can see you. Y'all be doing stuff like we can't see you. Oh, I know what you're thinking. They didn't have the camera on me when it happened. There are cameras in the NFL stadium. They do tutorials for security guards to do this. How you do it. So George Pickens, you're probably not going to be a Cowboy in 2026 because they don't want to have a repeat of 2025. They'll take the production. They don't want the attitude. Yeah. And like I say, when your production is here and your antics are here, nope, can't deal with it. And you just lost to the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy. Justin Jefferson had 2 catches for 22 yards, and they beat y'all. So Dallas, I'm sorry. Dallas has a 1% chance of making the play. Just one.
Yeah.
And how do I know? Because I had a bunch of Dallas Cowboys fans, tweet me to my being you just mad because you're a Falcons fan. I'm not mad. I'm used to it. But you're a Cowboys fan. When last time Cowboys went to a Super Bowl? Oh, okay. So do that. Because neither one of us is gonna win one. That's all
It's
I
been
got.
30 years.
We lost one.
It's been 30 years.
Yeah. So,
on Monday Night Football, the Pittsburgh Steelers are currently winning 14-3 in the third quarter over the Miami Dolphins.
no, not the same Miami Dolphins that was saying that they got wasn't they out there in the cold weather saying it ain't that cold.
If this score holds, it would be 8-6 Pittsburgh Steelers, 6-8 Miami Dolphins. If this score, if the winning team is the Steelers in this scenario, they would be first in the AFC North with a victory here tonight, still over the Baltimore Ravens. So, quick thought on this game if you have any. Otherwise, we'll
the Dolphins are gonna look real stupid if they lose doing all this in the snow. Talking about, yeah, man, what all this cold weather. Practicing in the cold and playing in the cold, it's two totally different things. So yeah, stop it.
Yeah, Miami, nice little run here that you've been on since your GM got fired. I do give you a lot of kudos, but with the loss potentially, it's pretty much it's looking like a loss here tonight on Monday Night Football. It's going to be hard for you to still sneak into the playoffs here, which we'll get to in just a second here, Ben. I want to do a segment to close this out here tonight regarding the playoffs. But let's get to our top 5 games of Week 16. As we do each and every week, we'll preview our top games to watch here in Week 16. Your primetime games, Thursday Night Football, Rams, Seahawks, Sunday night, Patriots, Ravens, and Colts, 49ers on Monday night. So my top 5 games to watch here in week number 16. I will get us going. I'm going to start with my toilet bowl. Ben, I didn't think I would ever say this. I was going to say Falcons-Cardinals was my toilet bowl, but with Patrick Mahomes going down, a chiefless Patrick Mahomes versus a Patrick Mahomes-less Chiefs versus the Tennessee Titans is my toilet bowl.
Listen. This will be the Titans Super Duper Bowl. They don't care. They want it. They want it bad.
That is my toilet bowl. I could have done Falcons Cardinals, but Patriots or Titans Chiefs is my toilet bowl for the week. So number 5 on this list, give me Packers Bears in Soldier Field. The return game from Lambeau just a couple weeks ago. Bears will have to. Packers will have to do this one without Micah Parsons. We'll see how that one goes. Bears obviously looking for revenge. My number 4 on this list. Give me Steelers Lions, assuming Steelers win on Monday Night Football as we're recording this. Both teams at 8-6 in the Dome. They're in Detroit. Big playoff implication games for both of these teams. My number 3 on this list, give me 49ers Colts on Monday Night Football. This is going to be a game that the Colts need desperately, but so do the 49ers as they're trying to keep pace with the Rams and the Seahawks there in that loaded NFC West. My number 2, Panthers Bucks, NFC South, Week 16. The winner is not going to win the division yet, but definitely has a leg up going into the final 2 games. Big game in Charlotte for Tampa Bay versus Carolina. I will be there in attendance, Ben. That is confirmed per sources. And then number 1, Thursday Night Football to begin Week 16. Rams, Seahawks, a pair of 11-3 teams. This is probably for the number 1 seed, Ben. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right on that.
Winner of the Thursday Night Football game is probably going to be the number 1 seed in the playoffs come 2026. So those are my top 5 games and my toilet bowl for Week 16.
Well, my toilet bowl will be the Falcons and the Cardinals, not because but the Falcons finally want to start winning. It don't mean anything. Who cares? Now, now you want to win. It doesn't matter. That's my toilet bowl. I have a 5A and a 5B. before I get
Okay.
to 4. 3. Yeah. So my 5A is Steelers Lions. It is. I'm gonna go for Steelers Lions. I think it's with everything you said, playoff implications. Both of those teams gonna need those wins. And my 5B is Packers Bears. I know you're not gonna have Michael Parsons, but they're gonna have to. That rivalry is serious.
Yep.
I wanna be my number 4. 49ers Colts. Look, the thing about the 49ers is they're gonna have to find a way to beat the Colts team because if they lose to the Colts, people gonna be like, dude, how you lose to the 44-year-old freaking out Philly River? So that's my number 4. My number 3, Jags Broncos. Look, the Broncos want to keep what they winning ways because I think they're gonna run away with that AFC West. The Jags don't want the Texans getting no closer to them. This is going to be a really, really good game. But here's the thing, the Jags, a cold weather, like a hot weather team, got to go to Mile High. Ooh, that could be
They
very
were my
interesting.
number. They were my number 6. My honorable mention was Jags
Yeah.
Broncos. I
Listen,
barely.
listen. My number two is Rams Seahawks. For everything you just mentioned. This is for the division. And if you talk about Sam Darnold, you talk about Matthew Stafford, they got to go up there to Seattle. I think it's gonna be good. But my number 1, it's Bucks Panthers. It's number 1. It's number 1 for a lot of reasons. The Bucks, the Bucks, they lost the first place position for a couple of days, and they got it back on Sunday. Cool. But look how the football guys are honest. They're saying, "Oh no, Bucks." And here's the thing: Todd Bowles going crazy in the post game press conference. I see the video of Vita Vea walking to the locker room. I think when Levante David walking behind, they trying to get out mad at each other. And you know who's saying the right things? Yeah, the Panthers.
Yeah.
Because Smitty, you said they got to learn how to win. Well, guess what? The best way to learn how to win is know how to take a
Consistency.
loss.
Consistency is
You,
what
you
they
gotta know. You gotta know how to take a loss. But Smitty, just like I know, we are week by week fan base. We are week by week. Out of the podcast country creators. If y'all win on Sunday, no one's gonna care about last Sunday. It's over with. Like, yeah, Tyler Shuck, congratulations. Boom.
Yeah.
But Smitty, y'all number 1 because when the last time Carolina can say, dude, we control our destiny. And you know who don't like that? Oh, people say, oh, who's all the pressure on? The Bucks.
Yeah.
All the pressure on. So I'm looking, but yeah, but yeah, just Steelers my 5, Steelers Lions my 5A, Packers Bears my 5B, 49ers Colts my number 4, Jags Broncos my number 3, Rams Seahawks my number 2, and the Bucks and Panthers are my number 1. And I think it's going to be fireworks. J.C. Horn, you owe the Panthers one. His name is Mike Evans. Mike Evans is not a burner. He just know how to get open.
J.C. Horn hasn't played against Mike Evans historically a lot because he's been injured. So
Well,
yes, it is time. It is
Let's
time.
see it. It's time. Yep. Looking forward to it.
Real quickly, because I know we're over. Let me give you the 7 teams in the NFC, 7 teams in the AFC, currently as of constructed, and then the outside looker-ins, the sniffing it, as some the Rich Eisen show calls it. I think they're in the hunt or sniffing it. Okay, we'll start with the AFC. Denver is currently at number 1 overall, would have the bye if the season ended today. I do think Denver's going to find a way and get that bye. I think that's what is going to happen. New England 2, Jacksonville 3, Pittsburgh 4, Chargers 5, Buffalo 6, Houston 7. Those are your 7 right now. The 3 on the outside looking in, Colts, Baltimore, and then Miami in that order. Ben, I do not think the Dolphins, good story. I think they're going to lose tonight. And I think even if they upset the Bucks in a couple of weeks, not going to happen. The Dolphins.
Yeah, I think it ended up being a really, really good story of Miami Daniels being able to keep everything together when they lose. When you lose Tyreek Hill, you lose Johnny Smith, you lose Jalen Phillips, and you lose Jalen Ramsey, and you still find a way to and you lose Tyreek Hill. And you find a way to even be respectful. Yes.
Ravens Steelers, one of those teams is going to get in, one is going to be left out. As of now, it's going to be the Steelers as of right now. Lamar Jackson's been playing better. It's just going to depend on what Lamar Jackson shows up. I believe they play Week 18, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't think the Colts are going to get this done. I think the playoff 7 teams is currently as constructed. The order might change a bit, but I think how the 7 teams are right now is what is
Yeah,
going to happen in the play. That means I have
yeah,
Lamar and the Ravens missing the playoffs. I
yeah.
think the
Which
7
which
as
yeah,
constructed.
which is a very very real possibility. Yes.
Do you agree with the 7?
I
Do you
do.
think
I do agree with it. I think if Baltimore can find a way to make a late run, they can. But they got to beat New England, which is going to be a tall task with them coming off a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Colts not going to do it. Listen, your quarterback is 44 years old. I mean, I love Philip Rivers. We was in the same draft class. Come on, Phil.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
have a great child.
Yeah. And then the NFC, the Rams currently the number 1 seed as constructed right now. Chicago, Philly, Tampa Bay, Seattle, San Francisco, Green Bay are the 7. And then outside looking in is Lions, Panthers, Dallas in that order. Excuse me. Dallas, I think, is
Hold
going to
on.
be.
Who did you have at the Philly? You said Rams,
Oh, sorry.
Chicago, Philly.
Tampa, Seattle, San Francisco, Green Bay. Those are your 7 right now. And then on the outside looking in is the Lions, Panthers, Cowboys in that order. So Dallas, we said earlier the 1%. Dallas, great story. I think
No,
they're
they're
done.
done. Yeah, Dallas. Listen, I will say this.
Carolina or Tampa is going to get the 4 seed. The other one is going to be out. So I think this is going to come down to, Ben, I said Detroit or Seattle. But with this Parsons injury, it might just come down to the Lions or the Packers
It might.
for
It
the
might.
7th
It might.
seed.
I mean,
If
I got y'all. I mean, if it's all said and done, I got y'all winning the division. Y'all hosting a playoff game. I do think.
Okay, so you have Carolina replacing Tampa Bay. Okay,
Yep.
I'll go
Yep.
with you for now. I'll go with you on that for now. And then, do you have Detroit sniffing it, Meg, or do you have them sneaking in and booting somebody else out?
I got them sneaking in, booting Green Bay out. I got them sneaking in.
Okay. I can see that possibility. Let's see what Detroit has here the rest of the way.
They
Steelers
got the
next
Steelers.
week, Vikings, Bears.
Yeah. I mean, they'll beat the Steelers. They'll beat the Vikings. It's gonna come down to the Bears. And Green Bay, unfortunately, owns real estate in Chicago. I mean, they're just. And so
They
we'll see.
Bears, Ravens is a tough game, and then the Vikings are in Minnesota. So
Okay.
yeah, it'll be a tough game, but yeah. Anyway, all right. So you do not think this is going to be the 7 for the NFC? You have Carolina swapping with Tampa Bay,
And I
then
got
Bay.
I got the line picking out Green Bay. Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll revisit this as we go down the stretch, but that is our predictions here from the NFC and AFC playoffs as we reach week 16 of the 2025 NFL season. Remember, here at Winning the Division, you are either winning your division or you are just in your division. For Ben Troupe, I'm Ryan Smith saying so long here for episode 80 of Winning the Division. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Keep Pounding Podcast Network, Fans First Sports Network, and Tobacco Road Sports Radio. YouTube.com is the video portion of this podcast. Let us know. Leave your thoughts in the comments section. Thoughts, comments, subscribe. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Love hearing from everyone, and we will talk to you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in once again.